Hey everyone, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at Nanbaka episode 19. Oh, I just saved myself from the intro because I almost messed that intro up. Anyways, this episode was very meh. I'll say that right now. It was a mixed bag of stuff. Like, I loved the beginning part. I thought the beginning part was pretty good. I loved the very end. I think that ending was really cool. But I think the middle was probably what my biggest problem was with the episode in general. But let's talk about what happened, and then I'll talk about why I had so many issues with this episode. So, in the very beginning, though, like I said, was hilarious because we have Uno seeing all the weird creatures, which you're going to see in a couple of minutes, but or maybe probably a minute. But all these weird creatures are going after them, and they were the weird mannequin things we saw in the very episode where everyone met each other in the cell. And these things are kind of terrifying. Like, I mean, honestly, it's probably going to pop up like right now or something like that. These things have like no face. And they have like what looks like either some creepy smile on some of them, and then some of them look like they have weird things in their eyes. These things are weird. I'd be terrified myself, so I don't blame Uno for crying and just screaming his lungs out. I mean, I love how he screamed so loud. The intro had him still screaming. I thought that was funny as hell. But luckily, they find a room that was like a maintenance room that was used by correctional officers, and they kind of rest there and relax and try to figure out what they're going to do. This is when two things happen. We have a little bit of them trying to figure out a good plan to go, and them trying to escape. And what they do is they do find a pathway that they can escape from, which is an old. It looks like an old area section of the old prison that they're in. And Uno is not Uno. So Uno and Juga are pushed into the cell to go down and closed in behind them by the one guy with the long ponytail who kind of reminds me of like a Chinese warrior because he is from China though obviously. And what's interesting though is that we get some of his background story, which is more so he really admires the Sun Goku guy. I couldn't say that. Why could I not speak for a second? I hate when that happens. I'll leave it in there though, because I don't want to keep restarting this review. But this Son Goku guy, he trains with them all the time, and really there's no really reason for him apparently to train with them other than he wants to pay him back, and he feels like that's his mentor, that's the person making him a better person, and he feels terrible that during the fight with his brother Enki, he couldn't do shit. He saw him knocked to the ground. He couldn't get up. But Enki, of course, is really more powerful than his brother, obviously. So he did, struggle, and he realized he just was not strong enough. He gets his redemption though here, which is where I think this is part of the episode that I was kind of a little bit bored at, where we go into recap of how all these kind of characters are talking, why he even like pushes Uno and Jugo and Nico into the room so this way they're safe and they can go and take the pathway out. He does that because they all met each other and he really appreciates, I guess, their kindness and camaraderie with one another, and he likes that they're like that. So him and the other talisman dude stay behind to try to figure out how they're going to fight back, and they end up having to fight one of the other correction officers that they know. I think his name was Ranroku or something like that. They end up having to fight him and his weird weapons that he has. That's almost like sickle slash weird hook things that he has. They fight him. They're able to kind of break him down, but then this weird pig guy comes in who I don't know what the hell this dude was. I honestly like what, but he comes in and is basically taken out like less than a second by the talisman dude. But luckily, they realize, oh, this is not the end of him. He gets back up, and I thought honestly that was going to be it for that fight. Like I thought the talisman guy was going to win that fight in 2 seconds, and I'd be pissed off and be like, really, that the whole setup, the whole monologuing to lose in 2 seconds. I mean, that wouldn't be funny. That'd just be annoying. But it looks like him and the ponytail dude are gonna have to fight in the next episode. One of my biggest issues with this episode was that honestly, the beginning was really funny. I thought that it was classic Nanbaka stuff. It was funny. Uno probably really stole the show with me, at least in terms of his humor, of him running around screaming stuff. I thought that was hilarious. But the whole kind of telling the story for the ponytail dude was kind of like cliche and not necessary. I mean, these are minor characters. I don't care if they're now in the show a little bit more. I mean, they were, of course, in the first season also they were there, but they never really have huge roles compared to our main, characters. And I don't really care about their backstory. Like, I didn't care that he was with Son Goku all the time and he trained with them. Like, oh, okay, who really cares? It's not a big deal or necessary information to tell me. And honestly, their fight was kind of cool, but also it's like, typical fight for Nanbaka at this point. I think one of the biggest issues with Nanbaka is some of the fights could be a lot better than they are. I mean, like the stuff that we had with Jugo was awesome when he used the whole transforming arms thing into swords. That was cool, but this fight was like, it was okay. Um, Overall, though, I did like the ending part because I think that was kind of funny where he like punches him in the with like an uppercut, which looks like Shoryuken from freaking Street Fighter. I thought that was great. And then of course they're gonna have to fight him next episode, but it looked a little bit more epic. So I'm hoping next week's episode will be another good fight with these guys. Hopefully more fighting in general, because I think Nanbaka, when it does its fights right, and I'm not saying that all the fights, like I said, were great in this episode, but when it does its fights good and right, they're enjoyable. Like I mean, the whole fight with Son Goku and Enki, his brother, was kind of cool. That was fun to watch. And like I said, Jugo with his transforming arms and stuff, those were awesome fights in the first season. So I'm looking forward to seeing some better fights. That's all I'm saying right now. Anyways, guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this review. As always, if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. You know the whole nine. I will be reviewing Handshake because it's coming out later than I expected. I'm sorry about that. I do have to go watch it. I'm going to finish it right now as this is uploading. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day, everyone. Bye-bye.